11 weeks. Not everybody needs long-term care insurance. Thank you, everybody, for checking in. Jamie Thiel, how are you doing, Jamie? Hello, everybody. It is Monday at 7 p.m. And what does that mean? It means it's time for the 62 Who Knew show here at WeBeam TV in beautiful Newport Richey, Florida, right here in the studios. As always, I'm going to start out with a little synopsis of what 62 Who Knew is. But very quickly, I'm going to get to our guest. I'm so thankful to everyone that watches the show. This is our 11th week. We know we have good topics: long-term care insurance, real estate, life insurance, elder law, medicine from the Weizmann Institute in Israel a couple of weeks ago, people right here in Florida using stem cell research to do so many great things. But tonight we're going to bring a service to you that is just incredible. We're going to hold on that for a second just for our new viewers. What is 62 Who Knew? 62 Who Knew is really all about the double-edged sword, the mixed blessing of longer lifespans. Every generation, as it approaches the age of 62, as I am, I just turned 60 a little while ago, every generation has those same thoughts. Should I take Social Security? Should I defer it till a later time? Have I saved enough for retirement? Oh my God, that's all I saved? Should I have bought long-term care insurance? Do I need it? There's just so many things, because you want to live a quality of life. You want to have a quality of life with your children, your grandchildren. All generations face this. But our generation today, those people approaching 62, 65, they have an obstacle to overcome that no other generation has ever had. And that's because modern science, medical technologies and breakthroughs the last 3 decades have been unheard of. The curing of so many cancers, so many diseases. And the truth is, we are all living longer. In fact, the odds are as good as 50-50 as you approach your early 60s that you're going to make it to 90. And with what we learned in the last 10 weeks, especially in show number, I think, 7 or 8, from our friends in Israel at the Weizmann Institute, we're not going to be going to our 90s soon. In the next decade or so, that could be well into the hundreds lifespan. So what do you do when you're 62 as you're approaching, when you may have 30 years, half of your present life still left? And that's what the 62 Who Knew premise is about. And that's why we strive to bring you people like long-term care experts, stem cell experts, life insurance, Medicare. We have so many more great guests coming that we're very proud of that. But tonight's guest, who I'm about to introduce, and I'm about to read you her bio because it's extensive, and I'm not even going to read the whole bio because I want to stick to one main thing tonight. She actually offers a service or a product, however you want to do it, that really just amazed me. Her name is, let me read you her bio, and then we're going to bring her right on camera. Our guest tonight is Carol Roth. Carol is the creator of the Future File Legacy Planning System. That's what we're going to be discussing tonight. But let me tell you a little bit more about Carol, because she's got a staggering resume and background. She has put together billion-dollar deals. She is a New York Times best-selling author, a TV host and personality. In addition to creating the Future File Legacy Planning System, she has also put in, she is an investment banker. She plays herself on a weekly TV show, which I've been familiar with, Mark Burnett's America's Greatest Dealmakers on TBS. She's been a contributor to CNBC, Fox News, and she's presently the host of Microsoft Office's Small Business Academy. It goes on, but I don't want to take time away from her. We are going to speak tonight about something that's just incredible, the Future File Legacy Planning System. So without further ado, let's bring Carol on screen. How are you?
Hi, Michael. It's such a pleasure to be here, and thanks for the fabulous introduction.
When you sent me the book a few weeks ago, I was anxious to see it. I mean, you were going to be a guest, so I'm always anxious to see what a guest is doing. It sat on my desk for about an hour, and then I ripped open the box, and I started to look, and quite frankly, it amazed me. As I pride myself, out of our thousands of listeners, I'm sure there's a handful that actually do know me, and I pride myself on being a good dad and a good grandpa, and I think I've prepared. I'm not planning on leaving this planet anytime soon, but eventually I will leave the planet and go back to the planet from which I came. But until then, I really am trying to plan to take all the pressure off of my children, and I guess we all learned that from when our parents passed on all the things we had to do. So I created a document that I thought was fairly complete, and your book makes me look like like Helen Keller created my list. It just covers everything from the most serious right down to if you have a pet, what you want to do with that, what you want or not to be said in your obituary. I mean, things that I never even would think of. And what amazes me is none of it is minutia. None of it is like page filler. Oh, I want to. It's all important. It's all things that children, adult children, would go, oh, I'm glad mom and dad told me that's what they want. So I'm sort of going to turn this over to you right now to find out what motivated you to do this, how you came up with this, and I'll have a plethora of questions for you. If you've watched my show before, you know I like that word, plethora. So I'm going to have a plethora of questions for you, but what was your motivation to create this incredible book?
So I have become an expert in something I never wanted to become an expert in, and that is death. I have been through so many losses. I had a boyfriend who was killed in a car accident at the age of 21 when I was in college. And then my mother was shortly after that diagnosed with leukemia, and she passed the day after her 51st birthday. And then as we were grieving that, my stepmother was diagnosed with lung cancer, and she passed away. And having all of those experiences, my father, Bernie, who was an incredibly commonsensical and financially oriented individual, he said to my sister and I, if anything were to happen to me, it's just you two girls. I'm not sure that you would know everything to do. Now, you have to remember, I am, at this point, an investment banker, and I'm like, well, I'm pretty financially savvy, so I kind of feel like I know what's going on. But sure, Dad, I will oblige you. And he would hand us information, everything from his insurance policies to his own obituary to keys to the safety deposit box. And every week there was a new piece of paper, and he would say, put it in the file. And we put it in the file, and we just assumed we would never have to use it. Well, lo and behold, 5 years ago, my sister calls me and she says, Dad's been in this accident. He's incapacitated. And that crazy file that you've been assembling, I need you to grab it and bring it to the hospital. So in that moment, I grabbed the file, and my father had to have immediate brain surgery to see if there was anything to do to potentially save him. So I had to make that decision. So I went into the folder and says, what does Dad want us to do here? Yes, he wants us to do the surgery. Then the hospital said, well, where's your power of attorney? And I went into the folder and I said, here's my power of attorney. And unfortunately, he did not make it. So we had to call his family members and friends to come to the hospital and say goodbye. We had to lay the body to rest. I'm Jewish. We had a shiva. And then we had to, wrap up all of the personal affairs. And by assembling all of this information, what my father did was he alleviated a lifetime of burden for us. So we didn't have the burden of, did we make the right decision? And we also saved the family relationship. My sister and I were allies instead of adversaries because there was nothing to argue about, which is priceless.
That is
in terms
priceless.
of financial costs, he saved us more than 10,000 actual dollars because, as you know, end-of-life costs are incredibly expensive. And for the costs we did incur, he had a policy in place. And finally, he saved us hundreds of hours of time because we actually knew where everything was located. We didn't have to worry about finding it. We didn't have to worry about there was something maybe that we missed. And so by putting this all together, he created something that was a gift for us. And so we took that as a prototype and made it a gift for other people.
Well, we have roughly about 20 seconds. Our first segment goes so quick, and I apologize for that. We have roughly about 15, 20 seconds till we take a break. In that 15, 20 seconds, let me say, first of all, my condolences. You're too young to go through as much grief as you already have, but it is almost like longer lifespans, a mixed blessing that this came out of it, because as I look through your book, it's just going to help so many people. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to go into a little more specifics.
Thanks.
How did I time that?
One bee that loves going to the dentist. I am Dr. B.
At Dr. B Pediatric Dentistry, we understand the individuality of each child
And they also teach us how to take care of our teeth.
and offer an exceptional and gentle dental care experience for all children. With our laser procedures, we are able to provide gentler treatments and faster healing time.
Come meet Dr. B.
I'll be calorie-free.
Call Dr. B's Pediatric Dentistry today.
Hi, my name is Mike Banner, and in addition to being the host of the 62 Who Knew television show, I am also the president of Professional Mortgage Alliance, where our passion is helping seniors entering retirement purchase their dream retirement home without the obligation of a monthly principal and interest payment. Please call me at 727-224-3859 or visit my website at professionalmortgagealliance.com.
My name is Ann Rogers, and I'm a real estate agent and broker in Pinellas County and have been for over 24 years. Ann Rogers Relocation Resources provides a full array of services to help you or your loved one transition gracefully to a new residence or adult living community. Our first consultation is free and with no obligation. Please visit our website or call to talk to me directly.
Hi, my name is Lisa Marie Kennedy, your real estate expert here in the Sarasota, Lakewood Ranch, Bradenton area. I spent years developing myself, studying the industry so I can serve you and communicate with you the best way possible in your real estate transaction. My phone number is 941-807-2054, or please visit my website at lisamariekennedy.com.
And we are back. Thank you very much. We're going to, oh, and there she is. Good. Carol, I want to do a couple of things before we get right back to you. A couple of things. First, I'm going to apologize to you and our viewers. I'm just getting over a little chest thing, so if you hear me clearing my throat a lot and doing that, I'm not trying to get anybody's attention. Just my lungs are collapsing. No, that's not true. Just I'm getting over this. So, there was no way in the world I was delaying this show because here's the book. I very rarely, when we have a guest, bring on something and go look. Because I feel like, it's Ronco and it's, and if you buy one now, Carol will send you an extra one. That's not true. This is just incredible. I've looked through the book, the whole book. And you would think, like I said, that you would get, to a page where you would go, well, I wonder why that's there. Because, I nitpick things. I'm a professional. I'm a national speaker. I don't know, in my niche of reverse mortgages, I speak all over the country to financial planners, investment banks. But here I just opened to a page number 51. Does your parent, were they in the service? Do they get a U.S. a flag? My father was a highly decorated POW. We're Jewish, as you are. I mean, whatever page you just turn to, you just go, oh, that fits me. Oh, that fits my mom. Oh, my daughter would like to know that. Again, it was misfortune that got you to this. Not misfortune, but hardship. But what a double-edged sword. What a way to, to have the proverbial lining, silver lining on that gray cloud. So tell us a little more about it. I'm going to save the price for the end because I didn't ask you the price till about an hour ago. And I was thinking, wow, it's going to be a number. Not a huge number, but a number. And when you gave me the number, and we're going to keep the audience in suspense for another 40 minutes. When you gave me the number, I just said to you, why haven't you sold 10 million of these? Why doesn't everybody have one? This is really more of a labor of love for you than it is a profit center. It has to be.
Yeah, absolutely. This is something that our father did for us. And this is my first sort of mission-based business. So I had to take off of my business hat, and I didn't want to make this a subscription business, and I didn't want to try and wring every last penny out of everyone. I really want to protect people and their families. And having been through this so many times and knowing what my dad did for us and what a blessing it was in your ultimate time of need. And if you have not lost someone before, you can't really wrap your head around what state of mind you're in during that period of time and how difficult things are. So we wanted to make sure that price was never an issue. And so, we have a full kit. We've got the book that you showed, another book that's an information book, a filing folder, full kit that you keep everything in. And, I'm based in Chicago. We've done events with church groups in very underprivileged areas in Chicago, where everybody in the room always buys one because they understand how important it is and because we didn't make price a barrier. So that was really, really critical for us.
Absolutely. Well, here was the book that I showed, but here's your instruction manual. And that doesn't mean that this is complicated in any way, shape, or form. I've looked through the instruction manual. It's just telling the family how to do this.
Yeah, this is the easiest. We made it so easy that a 5-year-old could do this, almost to the point where it's borderline offensive how easy it is to follow, because we tell you what to do, we tell you what page to look for it on, and we send a snapshot of what that page looks like, just in case you happen to get confused. So we wanted to make, it's a stressful thing to go through, and so we wanted to make it as easy for families to be able to do this together as possible.
Even though the premise of 62 Who Knew is to live a long life and have a high quality of life and as much as you can, our topics do ultimately revolve around ultimate death. Whether you're talking about long-term care insurance, with the latest poll showing 3 out of 4 people in this country are going to have a long-term care event, or you're talking about elder law, or should you have a trust, or should you have a will. Death is always ringing over my little 62 Who Knew circle here, and that's not what I planned on, but it is reality, longer lifespans or not. And you said something that a lot of younger people, and I know, well, you're younger compared to me, but very young people are not aware of. You lose your grandparents when you're young, and everybody's kind of used to that. Now, young could be 12, young could be 20s, but you expect that. I've actually said in my life, you don't really learn what loss is until you lose, your first parent and then ultimately your second parent. That's a loss, that's a hurt in your heart that just doesn't go away.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, even though this is something that we're talking about, sort of that eventuality of death, there are so many scenarios from, an incapacitation if you're in an accident. We've had all of these hurricanes and natural disasters, if there's an emergency in your house, or if perhaps you have a family member who's aging and just isn't as mentally sharp. So there are a lot of sort of life milestones along the way that we didn't necessarily even realize that we were addressing going in, but that this is appropriate for. And one that pops up a lot of times, I'm not saying that you should use it for this, but that we've gotten feedback on, is we've gotten feedback from a lot of women who really don't know what's going on in their own households in terms of their financials. And they said it was a really good way to get, an assessment of what was going on financially without their husbands worried about whether they'd be divorcing them or not. Because usually if you don't know what's going on, all of a sudden you want to say, oh, I want to know where all the accounts are. Then that raises a big red flag. And this is sort of a nice way to get involved and really get an understanding what's going on, under this umbrella of something that's not threatening and not making your husband worried that, you're going to put some poison in his food or something like that.
No, that plate belongs to me. That's not your plate. That's my plate. In addition to finding out that the husband has an extra few $100,000 stashed away that you didn't know about, the older borrowers, the greatest generation, unfortunately, I'm sure as you know with your background, they're leaving us at the pace of about 2,000 a day. And in just several years, there won't be any greatest generation left. But specifically that generation mom, the greatest generation woman, they have no idea about their finances. When my grandfather died in his mid 80s, my grandmother never had a driver's license. She never wrote a check in her life. She didn't know what the mortgage payment, well, the house was free and clear, but she had no idea. So yeah, I think for the older generation, and maybe even the generation that follows, that are not in their 90s right now, but are in their 80s, that's not today's generation, where the women, in many cases, in my mortgage world, I can't tell you how many mortgages my company writes where mom makes more money than dad, but we're still a couple of at least a generation away for those people approaching death. So,
but
yeah, I think
I'll tell you what, Michael, they have the opposite issue. They have a bunch of online accounts, and that they're so independent, and they have things in so many different places that a lot of time their significant other doesn't realize that's out there. So it could be a PayPal account or a Google wallet or something like that their significant other doesn't realize because they're using it independently. So the other generation has sort of the digital world and all this extra information. So regardless of what side you're on, it's one problem or another.
Yeah, it'd be fun to find out there's a couple of Bitcoins out there worth a few million that you didn't know about.
Exactly. Well, and here's the funny thing is that people actually lose their own Bitcoin and cryptocurrency keys. So we have a place in there to put the cryptocurrency key. It could be your own backstops just in case you happen to lose that, because once you lose that, there's absolutely no way to get that back.
There was a big bang about that. Did you see that one? What, as this has approached, and I know you have passed on, I hate to use the word sold, I know you sell them, but as thousands of people have taken advantage of this incredible service, what have you found the most common where people have went, because I know I probably have highlighted 50 things in the book, where I went, oh my God, that's important, why didn't I think of that? What are your top favorites, or what are the most common where people go, I know that's an unfair question, maybe I didn't prepare you for it, that people just go, oh my, how did you think of that?
Social media. Mm-hmm. Social media is a huge one. People don't think about what they want to have happen to their digital afterlives, and certainly their loved ones don't know how to get into that. So that's been a big one. Mm-hmm. Things like storage lockers. People are like, oh my God, I forgot that I have, all this stuff kind of put aside in a different place. It just didn't occur to me that I should put that information there. With online accounts, security questions. Everybody remembers the passwords, but
Yes.
people forget that if somebody's logging in from a computer that doesn't recognize you, that it'll say, oh, we don't recognize this computer. It's nice you have the password. What's the security question?
Yeah.
So you
Well,
think that you've been all clever in putting out the password, or you have a password manager, but you still don't know the security questions. And then on the aging piece, the whole piece around long-term care and, you know, what you want to have done and the financial planning for what happens if you are incapacitated for a short or long-term period of time. A lot of people have given no thought to that. So they may have been thinking about the death, but they haven't been thinking about the aging and the potential for, you know, a long, healthy, or perhaps not as healthy life that they have to plan for financially.
Yeah, that is huge. We talk about that with our two national long-term care insurance experts on a constant level. People, you know, feel so proud when they prepare for death, but thanks to medical breakthroughs and technology, you know, you can live the last 10, 15 years of your life. You may not be playing tennis in the 90-degree heat of Florida, but you can still have a very high quality of life. But you need long-term care, or you need short-term care, or you need something.
Absolutely. And I'm so thankful to know folks like yourself who are advocating for that, because, you know, our system is really a guide to help you think through things and to point you to the experts. But everybody should be having these discussions with the people who are the experts and making sure you're taking care of these things. And you have to do it now, because it's one of those things that if you wait too long, you can't get it anymore. And it's the same thing with the kit. You can't wait till the house is on fire to get your fire insurance. You can't wait till somebody passes away to organize their information. Take the 4 to 6 hours that it takes people on average to fill this out now, so that you don't have that lifetime of heartache for your loved ones. And, you know, I'll tell you, Michael, it really is about your loved ones and your legacy.
That's right.
Because you're gone. If you leave, you're out of the picture, right? Mm-hmm. It's what you're leaving behind, and that issue of family members fighting and becoming adversaries instead of allies, and having all of this time and extra burden. It's really the best thing. Forget about the financial, you know, the piece of jewelry that you can leave to your loved ones.
Yeah.
This is the biggest gift that you can give them.
There's absolutely no doubt of that, and it's kind of amazing, you know, how not nobody, but almost no one really wants to deal with this when they're younger, because everybody thinks they're immortal. A person, you know, you never want to talk about when you're going to be gone, but nobody plans it. You can't pick up your iPhone and go, I put it on my calendar, September 19th, I'm having a stroke. You just don't know. So one of the things that impresses me about this, at first I thought, oh my God, this is perfect. For 62, who knew? You know, when you're approaching 62, you have to have this. But the more I thought about it the last few weeks, I would think you have to have this, I don't know, a week after you come home from the hospital with your first child. And maybe I'm getting carried away because obviously I just can't see how anybody with children would not want this.
So it's interesting. That's what we say. We always say if you're 30 or you have a child, that you absolutely have to have it. One of the things that's been brought to our attention recently is that people who have adult children who are in college or maybe in a trade school or just out of the house, but who are of majority age, are now starting to get them for those children. Because if you don't have things like a power of attorney for health care for your child, they're away at school, God forbid they get in an accident, you cannot give any directive because you no longer have that right, and HIPAA protects them. Or if, God forbid, they go missing and you need to know who their friends are, how to get into their phone, or any information that you have to give to the police, you still don't have that. So the reality is that at every point in life, there's a reason to organize the information.
Yes.
And what we're providing is just an easier way, a conduit to help you do that quickly.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I can't tell you how many times in my, I hate to say how many years, but I'm going to say it, in my 36-year mortgage career, that children wanted to arrange a mortgage for their parents, whether it was a reverse mortgage or a regular mortgage. Mom and dad have become incapacitated. They have a general power of attorney, but in most states, you can only get a mortgage by power of attorney if it's a specific power of attorney saying, yes, you can put a mortgage on the property located at. And now we go, well, we can't use this power of attorney. Can we create another one? Is mom cognizant enough to do that? No, she's not. and that's it. Now maybe we have to go for a guardianship. It could take months. But again, I can see that, you know, we have a little less than 30 seconds. That goes so quickly. I can see a college-age student not only wants this for mom and dad, that college-age student should have one of these. So God forbid they're missing for a day or two. Mom and dad can get right into social networking or whatever, find out the last time they were at a doctor to see what is really happening. All right, we got about 10 seconds left in this episode. It's going so quickly, I say, in this segment. And that's it. We're going to come back in a few seconds and go delve a little further into the book.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist. I am Dr. B.
At Dr. B Pediatric Dentistry, we understand the individuality of each child.
And they also teach us how to take care of our teeth.
And offer an exceptional and gentle dental care experience for all children. With our laser procedures, we are able to provide gentler treatments and faster healing time.
Come meet Dr. B.
I'll be calorie-free.
Call Dr. B's Pediatric Dentistry today.
Hi, my name is Mike Banner, and in addition to being the host of the 62 Who Knew television show, I am also the president of Professional Mortgage Alliance, where our passion is helping seniors entering retirement purchase their dream retirement home without the obligation of a monthly principal and interest payment. Please call me at 727-224-3859 or visit my website at professionalmortgagealliance.com.
My name is Ann Rogers, and I'm a real estate agent and broker in Pinellas County and have been for over 24 years. Ann Rogers Relocation Resources provides a full array of services to help you or your loved one transition gracefully to a new residence or adult living community. Our first consultation is free and with no obligation. Please visit our website or call to talk to me directly.
Hi, my name is Lisa Marie Kennedy, your real estate expert here in the Sarasota, Lakewood Ranch, Bradenton area. I spent years developing myself, studying the industry so I can serve you and communicate with you the best way possible in your real estate transaction. My phone number is 941-807-2054, or please visit my website at lisamariekennedy.com.
And we're back. As I'm looking through the book, you know, we could do a 3-hour show on this book and not get bored. Because again, every page you turn to, I mean, what I just did, I just opened. It's page 61. You know, wishes regarding after-service events such as visitation. I find that, I find that touching. You know, to be able to know what they wanted. And yes, a lot of times this is really more for the living, let's face it. But to do it with the respect of the one that just passed, of what they would want. I mean, you turn to another, you know, which was very close to my heart because it had something to do with my dad. You know, budgets for cross-referencing and planning for course. You know, the last, I said my dad, I have pictures of my father in my office literally jumping waves on my jet ski in his 70s. But from the last year of his life with congestive heart failure and things, it went down very quickly. We in no way, shape, or form were ready for the in-home care cost. Dad did not have long-term care insurance. He had, of course, Medicare, a Medicare supplement policy, and being a highly decorated POW from World War II, we had it all covered. Boy, were we wrong. So knowing these things up front is just staggering. I mean, every page.
Michael, if I could interject there
Yes.
and just share with you, you know, this was my father's financial frugality kicking in place, and he's the one that really set us on this course for this, because, you know, he realized that, you know, not only was he not going to be there in spirit, but not actually be there. But he realized that my sister and I, we were very good daughters, right? So we were going to do everything we wanted for our dad. And that's, you know, what they sort of count on in the funeral industry is they count on you're in this moment of grief. And you don't want to jip out on the father or the mother that you love. So, you know, if I hadn't had my dad's directions, he would have gotten a very, very expensive, beautiful casket that looked exactly like, you know, something I would have thought he wanted. He said, don't do that. That's a waste of money. Just do this. I would have given him multiple services. He said, no, just do graveside. The visitation, he literally said, do it in the clubhouse, do it from this day to this day, only sit Shiva one night and then kick everybody out, because he knew if he didn't tell us that our wishes for him would have been to spend a ton of extra money on it. So there is this sort of frugality. I know it's lovely and it's thoughtful and it's you know adding your input, but the reality is that's part of what saved us more than $10,000. Is my dad saying this is not necessary, and we have passed that on to other people. We had somebody who panicked and called us and said, okay, you know, we've got this casket. They're saying it's going to be $6,500 for the casket. I said, go to Costco. It costs, you know, $500-600. We ended up saving them $6,000 on the casket alone. So it's those kinds of things that if you have the time to think about it ahead of time and plan and put those instructions in place, you will literally save your loved ones 4 figures, potentially 5 figures. And again, a lot of headaches and burden, because you don't want the family members fighting. Oh no, I think Dad really would have wanted that. Well, I know that he didn't want that.
Yeah. Well, and then you know, it's really, again, it takes losing parents to realize this. Saving 10 grand is great. It is. It's, you know, 10 grand ain't chopped liver. But even more than that, knowing that you are doing what your dad wanted. I mean, that means something specifically at that point in life. That you can take a deep breath at the end of the day and say, this is what Mom and Dad wanted. Not arguing with your sister.
You're not shouldering, you're not shouldering that burden. You're not walking around with that burden of every day, did I make the right decision? Did I let them down? And that's a burden we don't want to bear. And I will also say go ahead.
I was going to say, especially in a Jewish family where guilt carries way past death.
Yes. Exactly. We get the guilt times 3. But you know, speaking of the families, what I was going to say is a lot of these decisions actually affect the family in a way that you wouldn't think of. So, for example, if you want to be buried somewhere, then your kids have to think about, well, do I want to be buried with Mom and Dad? And do my kids want to be buried with Mom and Dad? And that, if you haven't purchased a plot, you may have to purchase one at that point in time to lock it down. You might not have that cash available. So a lot of these decisions aren't just things that affect the person who has passed or the person who's aging. It affects the whole family. You know, on the aging front, it's the same thing with caregiving. Who's going to be the person who spends the time doing caregiving and maybe has to leave their job or go part-time in the family, or are you going to hire somebody professionally? So all of these decisions really have an impact on the loved ones' lives as well, in ways that you don't really think about until you start going through the process.
Until it's you brought up 2 subjects. I always say this, but it's the truth. It's the truth. I wish the camera could get closer. You're bringing up topics that give me goosebumps. Number one, you know, the actual burial plot, cost of the burial. So many, I have friends, relatives, you know, that Mom and Dad have taken care of this, and yet the children know about it roughly, but Is it paid for? I know they picked out the spot, but did they pay for it? Was there a payment program? Because a lot of times funeral homes do that. Where are those papers? Should we be all buried together, in a big, huge thing? Do you want to be buried next to mom? I know if I was buried next to my mom would turn around and go, "That's the suit you picked to be buried in," because she's a Jewish mom. And I would have to live with that for eternity, no matter what suit I pick. But these are things that when you have to deal with them, you're so engrossed in your grief that it's really just hard to explain. I mean, you're dealing with things at the absolute worst time of your life. And I just can't stress it enough. I mean, as you're speaking and I'm not on camera, I'm looking through the pages even more, although I've looked through it, for 3 weeks. And again, I just turned to a page, listing of not just assets and liabilities, things that you would think of, but wishes related to minor children or grandchildren, wishes related to pets, wishes related to so many things that really mean something to every family. And I know we have a lot of time left, not a tremendous amount, but just such huge kudos to you for putting something like this together. And we're going to talk about something else in the final segment, so we're going to let the price out now. I'm going to let you do it. I just want to show it one more time. I've never done this in 11 weeks. It's like I'm hawking a product, and I said I wouldn't do that. But we have anywhere from 3,000 to 6,000 viewers per week on this show. I'm very, very proud of that. I don't take almost any credit for it. It is my wonderful guests that are constantly bringing up topics that people obviously are interested in, and I thank them. But I am saying to my 3,000 to 6,000 viewers, if almost every one of you don't buy this, after Carol, and I'm not on commission. Carol, tell them I'm not on commission.
You're not on commission.
Not on commission. You need this. Do this for your children. Do this for yourself. Carol, you go ahead and say it. How much is the book, the instruction guide? I put the folder over there that it comes in to keep it with. How much is it?
I've got the folder too, because I wouldn't be a good marketer if I didn't have the folder. So the whole kit we special price for a one-time fee of $99.99. And again, the reason we did that is we didn't want cost to ever be a barrier. This is a mission for us. We want to protect your family. So the cost cannot be an issue. And I will tell you, if you don't find the value, and if you get this and you don't find the value, we will refund your money.
Yeah, I was just going to say, send it back to 62 Who Knew. I'll give you back your $99. So will Carol. We'll each give you back $49.99.
You'll make money on the deal.
That to me, and let me be clear, that's not $9,999. That's $99.99. Everybody needs to do this. I was on my phone just before the show with my favorite cousin, brother type of person, and said, you just have to have this. How could our family not have this? It's just incredible. Now, when we start out the fourth episode, the fourth segment of the show, we're going to talk about something a little different. But now I want you to show the audience something. I have never had a guest, ever, nor did I think I would ever have a guest that has her own action figure. You did notice my Superman in the back, the Superman necklace. I fell in love with Superman when I was 5. I never outgrew it. But there it is. It is the Carol Roth action figure. Does it come with a shield and a sword like Wonder Woman? And how did this happen?
It does. It comes with a paper copy of my book and a little bag. It comes with pink shoes. You can see little pink shoes on there. And the really staggering thing is that this action figure costs more than the future file. So go figure on that one.
Now, why did you have that? That was in connection with a client, you said?
So one of my clients is a fabulous maker of high-end collectible fashion dolls and action figures. And when I wrote my New York Times best-selling book, The Entrepreneur Equation, the buyers at the store at the time said that they thought I was too attractive to be taken seriously as a business author, and they wanted to pull me off the book cover. And so instead, I decided to turn that into a marketing opportunity. And so I replicated the book cover with the action figure, and we used it as a marketing piece for it.
Is there a little like Louis Vuitton purse in it? I didn't notice. I
have it as sort of in the back there. I can show you in the next segment. But yeah, there's a little like like attaché case that's black. You know, we certainly couldn't use the logos because we didn't want to take anybody's intellectual property, but it's a very nice looking bag.
You know, I've worked with a handful of investors in my adult life, and I have stockholders in my mortgage company, and I'm just wondering why no one's ever told me I'm not too good looking for people to take serious. I'm kind of upset about that. So I'll have to give that some thought.
Yeah, it's not something you want to hear. It's not.
I'd like
it's
to
not
hear
the.
it.
Yeah, no, it's not the compliment that one might think that it is.
Yeah, I'm a little too short for my weight. I've realized that. A lot of people think I need to lose weight. I personally think I just need to be taller, and it would just be perfect. We have about 10 seconds left, and when we come back, I'm going to surprise you because we're going to talk about what we're going to discuss next week in Orlando, which is your staggering idea for your senior thing that you want to do across the country. Let's tell the audience about that. And we're cutting away now.
One bee that loves going to the dentist. I am Dr. B.
At Dr. B Pediatric Dentistry, we understand the individuality of each child
And they also teach us how to take care of our teeth.
and offer an exceptional and gentle dental care experience for all children. With our laser procedures, we are able to provide gentler treatments and faster healing time.
Come meet Dr. B.
They'll be calorie-free.
Call Dr. B's Pediatric Dentistry today.
Hi, my name is Mike Banner, and in addition to being the host of the 62 Who Knew television show, I am also the president of Professional Mortgage Alliance, where our passion is helping seniors entering retirement purchase their dream retirement home without the obligation of a monthly principal and interest payment. Please call me at 727-224-3859 or visit my website at professionalmortgagealliance.com.
My name is Ann Rogers, and I'm a real estate agent and broker in Pinellas County and have been for over 24 years. Ann Rogers Relocation Resources provides a full array of services to help you or your loved one transition gracefully to a new residence or adult living community. Our first consultation is free and with no obligation. Please visit our website or call to talk to me directly.
Hi, my name is Lisa Marie Kennedy, your real estate expert here in the Sarasota, Lakewood Ranch, Bradenton area. I spent years developing myself, studying the industry so I can serve you and communicate with you the best way possible in your real estate transaction. My phone number is 941-807-2054, or please visit my website at lisamariekennedy.com.
All right, we are back. If people, before we go any further, John, would you throw up Carol's website? Or put up, throw up sounds so terrible. Everybody, there is the website. Please go to that website so you can get your future file system. This is just something you have to have. If in fact you didn't catch that, it'll be up on our Facebook. If in fact you missed that, Yeah, it's already up on Facebook. Our producer just told me. If in fact you missed both of that, or so many people watch this on repeat, Carol, thousands watch it more on repeat than they do live, you can go to our 62 Who Knew website, where we will be posting Carol's information, or you can just email me, mbanner@62whoknew.com, and I will put you in touch with Carol and post you right on her site. You just have to do this. You have to do it for yourself. You're going to feel better. You have to do it for your children. So now, in the remaining 7 or 8 minutes, let's talk about being kind to seniors, a national venture, if that is the proper way to put it, a national project that you are commencing with, that we're going to be meeting about in Orlando next week. Tell our viewers about this, because again, it's just something that you're doing that I think is incredible.
Well, I think that perhaps you have me mixed up with somebody else, because I am not involved with that effort. But I think that it is an incredibly important effort. Certainly senior citizens, if you've ever had anybody who is aging in your family, and I can tell you, we have a father-in-law.
I named the wrong thing. I'm sorry.
That's okay, but I want to make a plug anyway, because I have a father-in-law who had to come out of his home and go into assisted living, and we're far away from him, and so there are a number of people that we have that take the time to spend some time with him that really brighten his day. So anything anybody can do on that front in terms of being kind to seniors, I think it's something that's really important. So even though I'm not involved with it, now that I know about it, Michael, I'm going to go check it out myself.
Since we're not going to be talking about that, tell me more now about the book, and what are people's, the best way obviously is to get to you through your website. Tell us, though your background is so extensive, tell us a little bit more about the rest of the things that you do, and there's the website again.
Sure. Absolutely. So in addition to running Future File as a project, I've had in a number of different hats that I've worn. As I said, I've called myself a recovering investment banker. I've raised a couple $1 billion in capital and done mergers and acquisitions. And I call myself recovering because it's not something that you ever really leave once you're a deal maker. As you know, you're making deals all the time, Michael. You never really get out of that. So yes. I spend a lot of time doing that. And then on the TV front, I've been in a number of different places. As you mentioned at the top of the show, I used to be a contributor to CNBC. Now I tend to do Fox Business a couple times a week.
Wise choice.
I've been a reality TV show judge for a technology competition show that was produced by Mark Burnett, which was super fun. I got to work with Shaquille O'Neal and Mike Rowe and Mayim Bialik from Big Bang Theory. And I also host shows for a lot of brands like Microsoft and Bank of America. And so it's interesting because I've been able to take my business knowledge as well as my interest in terms of being in front of the camera and interacting and providing people, as I call it, edutainment, education, and entertainment at the same time, and had the opportunity to marry those. So I do that a lot on camera. And I also do it a lot in person as well. In fact, October is my biggest speaking month of the year, and I'll be everywhere from Athens, Greece, to Phoenix, Arizona, to Portland, and every place in between.
What are you doing in Athens, Greece, I have to ask?
So in Athens, Greece, I'm actually moderating an event. It's an in-house event for a major global executive search firm. So the people who place CEOs and boards of directors and companies, and they have their global internal meeting in Greece. And they needed a facilitator who understood business and could sort of conduct interviews with their speakers as well as sort of their internal C-level executives. And so I'll be moderating that for multiple days in Athens.
Are you bilingual? Do you speak other languages?
I speak a little bit of Yiddish.
Well, that we all do, yes.
And je parle un peu de français, mais pas bien. So a little bit of French, but not very well.
No Greek?
And,
no Greek?
No Greek, but it's really, that was a central location, and a lot of people are coming from London and Singapore and Australia and Canada and the United States, so there's not a large contingent of Greek speakers at the meeting either.
And you mentioned Arizona. What are you doing out there?
Arizona, it's a similar type of event for a major financial services company where I get to interview all of their portfolio managers for all of the brokers who are in the audience. So again, sort of taking my markets and business commentary and keeping the conversation interesting. And every portfolio manager has sort of a different focus from interest rates to equities and the like.
This sounds fantastic. And when are you coming to Florida?
So it's funny, I always tend to go somewhere when somebody asks me to go there for some sort of speaking engagement or business engagement. So I'm hoping, last year I was in Florida quite a bit. This year it hasn't hit my radar as much, but I'm hoping as we get into next year that will pop back up again.
I hope so. I hope so. And home is where now? Where are you now?
So I always say that home is on an airplane, but I keep the majority of my shoes and my one husband in Chicago.
Oh, Chicago. So that's good. So you're getting ready for a cold winter now.
I'm getting ready for a Bears game tonight. That's actually, that's my immediate thing. Once I get past the Bears game, then I will get ready for a cold winter. Something you don't have to deal with, which is lovely.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes it gets below 70 here, and we really got to worry about it. Well, John, about how much time left in our last segment, John? Oh, we only got about a minute and a half. Like I said, we could literally do a 3-hour show on this book. And a minute and a half remaining, I usually take the last 30 seconds. But in the last minute, is there anything you want to say to the audience? I know you have a tremendous amount of followers, from financial planners to consumers. There is a show on WeBeam TV called The Nerd Show. It receives in excess of Nerd Talk. It receives in excess of 100,000 views per month. And if you would like to send in one of your action figures, your action figure will go on, I was just told by the owner of the station, next to Superman, next to Batman, next to Captain America.
Fabulous.
You will be on The Nerd Show. If you'd like to send me an action figure, we'll get you on there.
We can make that happen. I am a self-professed nerd growing up as well as still now, so that sounds fantastic.
All right. Well, you know, it's surprising that a lot of people don't know this, but you know, Superman was Jewish, or is Jewish. Yeah, he was created by two Jewish men, and you are what your parents are. So with a little less than...
And Kent was short for Kentstein, right?
Yeah, they lowered it from Kentstein. Yeah, and Lois was actually Loisstein. All right, we're going to be rolling out in 3 seconds. Thank you so much for being here. I just can't thank you enough, and I hope you'll come on again.
My pleasure. Thanks for giving me the platform.
All right,
Appreciate
thank you. Oh, we're going to. A lot of people are going to get this thanks to you, and a lot of people are going to be so happy that they did.
Blessings. Thank you.
Thank you.